Hello, my lovely friends. My name is Ava, and here are some hockey romance recommendations. I can't believe I've never made a hockey romance rec video before on my channel because I have read quite a few. So let's get into these 10 recommendations. First, I'd love to recommend series. I have 2 series that I have read, I believe, in full that are hockey romances. First is the Pucked series by Helena Hunting, the first one being Pucked. This was, I think, my first ever hockey read, and I cannot stop thinking about these books. They're so sticking fun. My favorite one is later on in the series, but Pucked is a great starter book. It's very much like dirty rom-com with hockey involved. It's great. This series knows how to weave hockey in really well, because I do know a lot of complaints from people when it comes to sports romances is the sport in question is not highlighted enough, and I think Helena Hunting does like a fantastic job at weaving hockey into the actual hockey romance. This first one, Pucked, is about our heroine named Violet, and she gets in this one-night stand with her stepbrother's teammate Alex, who is the captain of her brother's hockey team. They're like a professional hockey team. That one night stand though turns into more because they cannot get enough of each other. So it's hot, it's great, it's a fun read, and I love the other books in the series. And there's also some little novellas sprinkled in there as well if you would love even more about these characters. The next series that I have is the Brooklyn Bruisers series by Serena Bowen. I feel like Serena Bowen is another author that weaves hockey and romance together beautifully in a hockey romance. I've only read the main 3 books in this series, but I know that there's more added on as a part of a different series, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. If you want to know more about this series, go check out my girl Victoria from Victoria's Romance Reads. She knows all about Serena Bowen's books. But I've read the 3 main ones, and I think book number 1 is my favorite. This is a second chance romance. These 2 characters were together in high school, but the heroine experienced something very traumatic and actually ended up breaking up with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend had nothing to do with it. She just felt like she was damaged goods now and he deserved someone better. That's what she thought. He was heartbroken by this. It's been a few years later. I think they are out of college now. The hero gets drafted as a rookie into a new hockey team, and it's the hockey team that our heroine's father I think coaches it. I was thinking maybe he owns it, but no, because the owner of the team is a different book in the series. So no, he coaches it, and the heroine also works for the team, doing something else, obviously. So they're forced to be around each other again, and old feelings spark up, and they're gonna have to confront each other's pasts and what happened all those years ago. There's 2 other books in the series, so I've read both of those. But yeah, great hockey incorporation in these books. Serena Bowen also has The Year We Fell Down. I think this whole entire series, I think there's 4 books in the series. I'm not sure, but this one is actually a college romance. The first one, The Year We Fell Down, very much reads new adult, was very much of its time when this book came out. It came out, I think, in the early 2000s. The heroine of the story was a hockey player, so you have both characters who are hockey players, but she now cannot move from the waist down. So she now is a wheelchair user, and she's going to college and has to be put in the accessible dorms, and one of her neighbors is our hero, who is also in the accessible dorms because he recently broke his foot and he can't really get around campus all that well. The only thing that's different between them is that he'll be able to walk normally again, and she unfortunately will not, and she is a little frustrated by this. But these 2 hit it off really well in their love for hockey and whatnot. The only problem is the hero has a girlfriend, and she's falling for him, and she's like, crap, what do I do? And the heroine just has a very damaged past and feels like she lost a lot in life because of the accident that she was in, and she's just not in the greatest headspace, and the hero helps her find like joy in life again. So it's a great college read if you haven't read it yet and you want more disability representation. Here you go. Next is Powerless by Elsie Silver. I do feel like the hockey is more low-key in this one. I'll let you know when the books come up, like if the hockey is more involved than most. So this one is more low-key when it comes to the hockey aspects. This is a friends to lovers romance. Sloane in here is about to get married to somebody. I think her like parents like kind of like set it up, and she's like, wait, no, I don't want to marry him, and becomes a runaway bride. And her friend Jasper, who is the heroine's cousin's like best friend that they grew up with, like helps her run away from this wedding. And they kind of go on a little road trip to all of the different hockey games that the hero is going to be playing because he's a professional hockey player and she just wants to get away from their small town. This is number 3 in the Chestnut Springs series, if you didn't know. So yeah, this was a great friends to lovers romance. I'm normally not that big of a fan of road trip romances, but I think this one did a great job, and I do love the slight little hockey incorporation involved. I have a Chloe Lisa book. This is If Only You. We have 2 characters who play sports in here. The hero is our hockey player and the heroine is a soccer player. So I do love how both of these characters play sports. It's very rare that in sports romances both characters play a sport. The hero is kind of like known as the bad boy on his hockey team. I would also recommend Always Only You if I could, but I feel like the hockey is basically like non-existent in that book, so I don't feel like it would be fair. At least there is some hockey in here, like the heroine goes to watch some of his hockey games. But these 2 become fake friends for the press. The heroine wants her family to believe and the press to believe she's not some goody two-shoes girl, and the hero needs to better up his image. So they just become friends for the media, but then they actually become friends in real life. So yeah, it's great. The heroine's brother is on his hockey team, so that's how they know each other. Make It Sweet by Kristen Callahan is more of a low-key one. That is because the hero experienced an awful injury on the ice. Literally, if he plays again, he could be at risk of brain damage, like permanent brain damage. The heroine of the story is a celebrity. She kind of is like an actor on a Game of Thrones type show, and her character gets killed off and she doesn't really know what to do with her life now that that's over. So she decides to take a vacation, and she kind of rented a cabin in the middle of nowhere, and the hero's grandmother owns the cabin and he has been sent to pick her up from the airport, and that's how they meet for the first time. The hero deals with chronic migraines as a result from his big injury that he had on the ice. So there's that representation that's done so well, I feel like. And he is fully adamant, like he's gonna skate again, he's gonna play again, like it's gonna happen no matter what. And so he's coming to terms with the fact that like this sport has damaged him irrevocably and he has to face that. And there's a point in here where his teammates are like, dude, you need to leave. Like, you cannot be here. We do not want you to die. He's going through the motions in this book for sure. Next is a fun one. This is Goal by Alexandria House. This is more of a nanny romance than a hockey romance. However, I did want to throw this one in because it is still a hockey romance, okay? Like the hero is a very famous hockey player. He ends up getting custody of his 2 younger half siblings. I think they're like 12 and 9 or something like that. His father ended up passing away and giving him guardianship, and he's like, oh crap, like I didn't even know I had siblings. I don't know what to do with them. And his gold digger of a girlfriend is like, well, I'm not taking care of them. You gotta hire a nanny. So he does that. This is his romance with said nanny. The moment that he sees her, he's like, whoa, she's stunning. But it's a little complicated because he has a girlfriend, but we hate the girlfriend. It's fine. It is fine. We hate the girlfriend. She's awful. But he is a famous hockey player, so hockey is involved in there at least a little bit. This is novella length, so take with it what you will. Next I have Unsteady by Peyton Crin. I feel like hockey and skating, I think skating more so, is interweaved in here more than hockey. The heroine is also a figure skater, so that is another sport element as well. The hero experienced a very big injury while playing hockey, I think about a year ago before this book takes place. He's trying to get back into the swing of things, being back like comfortable skating. So he goes to the rink early in the day before anyone is there to try and help ease his nerves and just practice by himself without anyone watching. But then the heroine shows up and sees that he's having a panic attack on the ice and ends up helping him through it. She also is there to practice without anyone watching. She is a figure skater and they kind of help each other through the troubles that they're both having in their life currently. So there is hockey in this one, but the hero is very anxious about it. He feels a lot of anxiety, PTSD involving his injury. But overall, this is a great romance. These characters are college age, so if you're wanting that, I recommend picking this one up. Isn't It Romantic by Lisa K. Adams is my next one. You can actually read this one as a standalone. I feel like as long as you read book number 1, because book number 1, the Bromance Book Club kind of introduces this whole series. This is book number 4 or 5. I've only read book number 1 and this one, so I feel like I was fine jumping around. But this whole series in general is about these guys who have a book club where they read romance books in order to learn more about women, their girlfriends, their wives, how to pleasure them more, make them be happier, because obviously women want what are in romance books the majority of the time. So they're just in this book club to learn more about women and figure out what they want. So this one is about Vlad, who is a hockey player. He is Russian. He's in America on a hockey team though, and he gets injured injured on the ice. I feel like a lot of these guys, they get injured. Wow. And he is not able to take care of himself. I think he broke his leg. His marriage of convenience wife ends up coming to take care of him in his house after she's told him, like, before this big accident, she ended up telling him that she wanted a divorce because she's fully adamant, like, and believes that he isn't ever gonna be in love with her. But in actuality, he has been, like, in love with her their whole entire lives. They grew up in Russia together, they're best friends, and the hero ended up moving to America because he was able to be on a hockey team, a professional hockey team, and the heroine wanted to go to school in America, like college, and she couldn't go there without a visa, so he ended up marrying his best friend in order for her to go to college. The other person fully thinks that the other one is just in this marriage for convenience purposes, but in actuality, both of them have been secretly pining after each other for years. So this forced proximity situation where she is taking care of him while his leg is broken forces them to admit their feelings. And lastly, I have Dukes and Deeks by Tori Jean. I will say the hockey element in here is very minuscule, very low key, I feel like. That is because our hero has been kicked off of his hockey team for a specific reason. You gotta read the book to figure out why, but he got kicked off for a specific reason. I'm not gonna let you know. The hero of the story lives in this small town, and that's where Jack, the hero, is from as well. Jack is her brother's best friend, and they're best friends also, respectively. They all grew up together. The heroine is in charge of putting together this Jane Austen-esque festival every year, and every year she hires like actors to play the notorious Jane Austen characters around the festival that she put together. But this year the Lydia and Wickham actors have actually run off together and gotten married as themselves, like as actors, like together, like they fell in love. So she has no one to play Wickham. She's gonna play Lydia, and so her best friend Jack is like, I just got kicked off of the hockey team, so I have nothing to do, so I guess I'll be Wickham. He does not know what he signed up for. He does not know the hardcore love people have for Jane Austen books and all that stuff. So they have to pretend to be Lydia and Wickham throughout this festival and pretend to be in love with each other and run off together and all that jazz. And that forces them to admit their pent-up feelings that they have for one another. Anyways, there you have it. Those are some hockey romances for you. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books or if you plan to, and if you don't feel like commenting anything else, you can leave me any hockey related emoji in the comment section down below. Also, make sure to comment your favorite hockey romances. I need more in my life, please. Anyways, thank y'all so much for watching. I will see y'all soon in my next one. Bye, y'all.